Well, it's another week and another coaster that we have rarely used. In fact, I think it's been about 3 years. So, for old time's sake, fly, my pretties, fly! Hello you guys, welcome back to Nerdolandia, welcome back to Planet Coaster 2. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. I really do appreciate it. I say it every single week, I don't mean it any less anytime I say it. But this is the park we're pulling together. We are on episode 4, can you believe? And I know the game is now out, and I'm probably in Frontier's eyes it's not going so well, but I'm still loving it because this is what we can pull together. This is our pretty little hypercoaster that we've got. Loving it still, and this area is just, I've come back into it, and yes, I love it. But you can see waiting in the wings for us is something just as pretty. Yeah, we're going a little bit B&M heavy on this one because we've got ourselves a flying coaster. But I've actually been able to play with the coaster builder tool a little bit and the smooth options, and I've now managed to nail like this sort of stuff. I think this is pretty much as it is. It rides perfectly anyway. So this is what we've got. We've got the station into the lift hill. I think it's set to 35 degrees. It's relatively steep, but not as steep as you possibly might need it or want it. And then into the first curved drop, and then into what I used to call the fly lie roll, and it's the 540 roll. 540 roll, and yeah, this is what you can kind of do with the shaping and whatever. It's pretty much spot on with what you can achieve. Then we come into the Immelman here. Again, this was quite difficult with the smooth options as they are, and then it comes into a turnaround. It's quite, I say it's low to the ground. It's not. There's the people for scale. You've still got lots of clearance, but it comes quite low to the path. Then up into a turnaround, and then into your pretzel loop. Of course, you're going to have a pretzel loop. What flying coaster doesn't have one? And then we come around this way into an overbank turn underneath the lift hill, and then into the final bit, which is a 0G. I think it's a 0G inline twist. I don't know what you're going to call it. And then into the final turn into the brake run. Then we've got maintenance area that's sitting quite nicely in the back here. I think it's going to be supported by a couple of sheds and stuff that might be in here. I don't think I'll put right. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. And then we've got the queue line. Just nice little cattle pen. Nice and simple. Keeping it simple. And in terms of the area, I've decided I kind of want to go down a Manta vibe. I want it to be landscaped. I don't know where shops and stuff are going to go yet. I need to play that out. But I kind of want to go down that whole landscaped walking through element. And I might actually put the path out this way, which then gives sense to the back. Anyway, I'm going to go off and play it. This is also going to need custom supporting. And I definitely can't wait to do that. So, off I go. See you in a minute. Here we go at that really awkward middle part of the episode where I don't actually know if I'm halfway through. I'm about to start detailing, and I've certainly got enough to talk about because you can see quite a bit has changed. And the first thing you'll probably notice, this thing is now custom supported, or at least as far as I'm willing to do and the game will let me. We still only got the flume support, so we can only do what we can do, but it is what it is. And I don't know, there's something about this game that feels cartoony. I don't know what it is. It's just something about it, and I don't know if these supports are too thick, but they're about right for what I've ever done in the past. I don't know what's happened to the timing of this. There's something that's happened in the game, and it's not dispatching at the correct intervals, so I'll fix that off camera, because we've got lots and lots to talk about, and I don't really know where to begin. I think the pathing is probably the first place to start, because originally I was going to do the update with just the bare paths in, but actually I took the time to do them, and I'm quite chuffed and pleased that I did, because it now actually makes it feel like it's all coming together quite nicely. There is a thing, by the way, I know that some of you guys suggest about the stopping guests walking through paths by leaving gaps. It doesn't work. I left an entire gap here and guests were still walking through, so it's almost like they just go, I'm walking there whether you like it or not. So guys, thank you for that suggestion. It doesn't work. But in terms of the paths around here, I have actually started to line it off, and they are lined up with this little curb. This curb, by the way, is just an in-game piece. It's the Planet Coaster fence, but it's perfect for the curbs that I'm trying to achieve. But I have taken the decision to still line them off with dirt, and that's because I want to put flowers and stuff along here, like I did last week. In fact, like I'm doing over here, because I do still want grass and whatever, but I do want flower beds and stuff to be in this area, so it definitely needs dirt as a bedrock for the flower beds. So in terms of the station, I'm taking quite a few cues from Raptor at Cedar Point with this one, and also Behemoth at the same time at Canada's Wonderland. It's very open trellis station. I like it. I like how they are. There's no detailing and stuff done in here. I still need to do the railings and all the usual gubbins. What I have done inside here is do all of the supports that you would find that would be in the station. Now, there is a problem with these air gates. They don't line up properly, and I don't know. Well, it's definitely a game thing, because this is definitely broken. Like, even resetting the game has loaded it like this. There's definitely a problem. But anyway, I'll fix that when that's fixed. I'll fix the supports when that is fixed. I can't do anything about it until then. But yeah, that's the station. And I've gone for this idea of metalwork and this breeze block wall. I want to keep it simple. I want to keep it generic. Like, there's lots of people out there that are doing amazingly themed stuff. They are going to far outstrip anything I can achieve right now. I'm happy doing generic. I'm happy to do jank. So we're all good. This is the maintenance area. I still need to put walls and stuff on the side here. I need to sort of like play this bit out to know how I want it to be. But what I have done is left a space for the catwalk that would be above the track. And of course the track is supported by the framework itself and not by in-game supports or actual supports. So yeah, that's all ready to go. I just need to put some more concrete and stuff down just to bring this out here and tidy up this area slightly. And then I don't know what I'm going to do about connecting this to roadways and whatever. I mean, I'm happy with that. In terms of inside the ride area, I've started to change some of the terrain, because this is a very flat park, and that's by design. We're still learning the game. I don't want to go too ambitious. Like, as it is, episodes are taking me 3 or 4 times longer than an old episode would, and that's just on flat ground. Add in terrain, and you just add an extra variable. But what I have started to do is just give it a little bit of variation. So you've got just that little bit of sightline height change going on, so it's not so flat and it's not so lifeless. And then I have just put in the concrete walls. I didn't know what I was going to do here, whether I was going to leave it natural terrain or whether I was going to put these concrete walls in, but actually I'm gonna do it as I would have done in Planet Coaster 1, and then just put the dirt and stuff on the outside, and then put some foliage, and then that should hide everything. And I've also just put some it's not necessarily don't die fencing, but I have just put, I need to fix this. I have just put some fencing and stuff around here to stop people in case they did get into the ride area just going into that bit. And there's likewise down, oh come on, touch the tree, and likewise down here as well. I've actually got double fencing going on here. So I've got the tall fencing, the don't die fencing, actually it's 4 fencing, isn't it? Don't die fencing here, and then the fencing around the outside. So I'm happy with that, and it needs a little bit of work, of course it does, and everything's going to get done. But it's all fine. This is the first unit. Then this is the food unit. I don't know, again, if there's a bug that's been introduced with 107, because guests just aren't buying anything anymore. Like, gift shops are ignored, food shops are ignored, information stalls are ignored. I mean, guests are buying stuff, but certainly not at the velocity that they were before the update. So I don't know what's happened, but anyway, they're in, and they're in time for it to be fixed. So all good, and that's kind of what I'm going for here. In terms of design, I've taken this a little bit from SeaWorld. There's a unit that's a little bit similar in SeaWorld, round by Manta, so that's what I'm going for in this instance. Then I've also got over here a building that feels very out of place, and that's kind of by design. I want this building to feel like it was here when this coaster wasn't, and they've built around it, and it's sort of like taken inspiration of the Tower Street buildings at Alton Towers, like with this whole vibe going on. I don't want it to be themed, but I want it to be brightly coloured and garishly coloured. I mean, I hate this building, which means it's good. So, of course it needs touching up and detailing and all of the usual stuff, but this is kind of like the vibe that I'm going for. I quite like it. I do quite like it. We've got ourselves an additional ride. This thing, I need to recolor it and do all the decorating and stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do that this episode. It feels like I should, but I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to, just because it finishes off the area quite nicely. So we've got that one, and you'll also notice that we've over this way we've got the Sun Seeker, the Sun whatever, that thing, because it felt like that is something that needed to be in the park, and it needed to be in this position. And then because it felt a little bit empty in this area, I put this in. This is the Carowinds whatever restaurant down by Intimidator. It's that same sort of like building shape. I loved how it sat, and I loved the patio area and how that interacted with the pathway and a planter area outside. And I was like, yes, that's kind of what I want in this area. So that's what I'm going for here. And then we do have toilets and a gift shop here just to bring the area to life. Now, I'm not going to do these in this episode, I've decided, because there's going to be a coaster that's going to come in this sort of area here, and the exit feels like it needs to come around this way and then join up to the path here. So I need to do all of that work over in that space. And then the last bit to show you is just this bit down here. Like, this whole area is now starting to come together. It's how I want it to be. You've got this little unit that I've pulled together. Of course, it needs finishing. There's supports that need to be put into here, and the detailing and the signs and all that sort of stuff. And of course, this bit's missing here. But yeah, this is kind of how I wanted this to be. It's been various different colours. It's been green, it's been purple, it's been blue. And I seem to keep falling back to the yellow. I think I quite like the yellow. So I'm just going to go with it. And then I have put a staff room at the back here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this brick, and I'm going to make it out as if it's some kind of ventilation unit. You see that quite a lot in parks, where you've got a pitched roof and then it'll overshoot the pitched roof as like a solid unit. So that's what I'm going to go for there, and just make it a thing. And then here I've got a seating area inspired by the one that's down by Raptor at Cedar Point, or at least was. I don't know if it's still there, but it's inspired by the one that's down by Raptor. This one will be covered, unlike last week's where I decided it wasn't going to be. This one will be, and it's exactly as I want it to be. This pink and blue, of course, it represents the channel colours, and I'm just going to put some foliage and stuff out the front here just to close it off a little bit, and then call it done. And then the last one to show you is just the ride photo shop, and this is sitting here. It's in the Flying Coasters colours, so it's pretty garish, and I love it. Fine details and stuff are needed in there as well, but it's sort of sitting there quite pretty. And I didn't want it to be obstructing on the pathway, but I did want it to be there on the pathway. So that's what we've got here. So this is how we are looking from the top before I do any detailing. Just to remind you, I'm not doing anything that's sort of to the left hand side of my mouse movement here. So all of this stuff down here is not going to get done, but this stuff is obviously going to be finished, and then I just need to tidy up this bit down here now that it's ready. And I've also found, by the way, this. So if you turn the flowers upside, actually Mars Bandit pointed this out on the video, and I was like, oh, what a really good idea. It's not recolorable, but if you turn the flowers upside down, I don't know if you can see the outline, turn the flowers upside down, you get some mulch. So that's actually a pretty good bedrock for your railway. So that's what I'm going to do, copy it across and be done with it. So there you go. I will see you in a minute. Are you ready for a flight through some trees? It looks a bit different, doesn't it? I love it. It's come together so well. It's another example of just how the game brings stuff together, and the foliage just finishes it off. There is just so much to show you. I want to show you at peep level this time, because there's quite a bit to show you. So I'm going to show you the top level stuff first. Like, for example, this little maintenance area, lots of touching up work has gone on here. The transfer track is now done, and I've just put some wires and just some bits inside here, and then I finished off the maintenance shed, so it's now all like metal walls and that sort of stuff. Bit of clutter in the area just to bring it to life, and then gravel textures. I'd forgotten we got textures. I was all ready to start using upturned mulch and all sorts, but no, this gravel texture works just fine. All I need is this area to feel like it's been worn down over time. That's what I'm going for here. So then we've got the actual station itself. It's now done. I've just copied across the idea of using the row numbers like I did on the Woody. So I mean that works. And then the exit. Wait, hang on. There we go. The exit bit here, we've got the baggage hold, and we've got the exits and stuff, and then all the push points and whatever are all in. And then in the queue line itself, we've got the queue covers are in. I don't know if they were in before. I don't think they were. So the queue covers are in, and it looks really, really good. Bins and benches and all that usual stuff, and lots of foliage going on here. And then we've got the ride photo unit. So it's a shame we don't have ride photos, really. I don't want to do any more than this, by the way. I've just put some clutter clutter and stuff on the back. The brightness you're seeing here is because I've used area lights. I think I've probably used too many area lights, but I've used area lights to brighten up the inside, and it looks alright. It looks pretty decent at night as well, actually. So yeah, it's cool. And then the actual buildings, there's so much scenery that we get locked to here. It's ridiculous. I'm going to show you the buildings, but I'm going to show you from peep level. So this is the entrance to, let me get the camera, this is the entrance to the area, and just look at the views of the coaster we get. By the way, you may have spotted, if you haven't already, the coaster has changed colour. It's a slightly yellower yellow, and it's a slightly darker purple. So it's now actually kind of matching Odyssey at Fantasy Island. But yeah, I love it. So this is the, I've got to try and get the camera right, because there are 3 cameras, isn't there? I could just go into peep mode, actually. Should I just do that? That's probably better. There we go. Oh, actually, this is way better. This was a way better idea. So this is the entrance area. Look at the view of the 540 roll that you get. Love it. And then it just goes into the Immelman and stuff there. And then of course we've got the pretzel loop just behind the tree. But this is the Chief Beef unit that I wanted. Nice small details done to this. Nothing too extreme, nothing too major. But actually it's cool. Look at that. Yes. But it's cool. I like it, and it's all good. Coming over to this one then. This is the one I did sort of more work to. And I'm actually quite chuffed with how this looks from peep level. From up top, it looks a bit rubbish. But from down here, it actually looks alright. I don't want it to be any more than this, in fairness. I could have done a little bit more. Like, I've put guttering and stuff over on the... Oh, I've got a mouse pointer to show you. I've put guttering and stuff over this way. And then I've just put the extra bits on the roof. A couple of, like, trinket bits. So I put those lamps next door to the sign, and I made the sign slightly bigger as well. It felt like that's what it needed to do. And then just a bit of awning and stuff on the outside, and on the inside I've just decorated it a little bit. Like it looks all right, actually. It's quite bright, it's quite coloured, and I'm all right with it. I quite like the floor, actually, this whole brick floor with the sign on the floor and stuff. It looks good. I'm happy with that. Coming over then to this whatever spinny ride. I haven't put a ride sign and stuff in, but I've done all of the flowers and foliage. I wanted this area to feel like it was established and it was a little bit overgrown. Lots of elephant grass in this, lots of overgrown trees, but mature trees. I love that. I love that willow. Oh, I love a weeping willow so much. Really, really good view of the hypercoaster. I just need to do this space here. But again, this is this idea of using all of the foliage. And I've just layered it all together. So you can see, like, I don't even know what I've used. I am definitely 100% not a gardener. I'm not even sorry about that. I don't know if I want to change the colour of the ride. I said that in the last update. I think I was going to, but yeah, I don't know. I need to see what the rest of the area brings. But this is ultimately what I was going for with the foliage. A couple of trees and stuff just sticking out, and yeah, it looks cool. So this is probably the least finished bit. So I think we should probably walk back this way. There's no way of making them run, by the way, because it's not actually working, or at least it's not for mine. I've seen other people have the crouch working and stuff, but it's yeah. But look at the views that we get of this coaster. I love it how it just goes through the trees, and it just feels so natural. There's the station in the background. Like when you go down to Street View of parks like Kings Island or whatever, you actually get this vibe, don't you? You get how it's supposed to look, and it just, oh yes, I love it. This building turned out way better. I just touched it up a little bit. It's a busy Saturday night, and I just put some fine details on there, like this menu item here. If you get the reference, by the way, we can be friends. But yeah, like this idea of the shop and whatever, just there. I love it. I absolutely love it. This sign, it's only simple, right? Some of you will be just looking at it and going, yeah, great, well done, you've made a really basic sign. But I'm actually really chuffed with how that sign is. It just fits, it fits perfectly where you actually want it to. And it's a sign that would be there to try and get people to buy stuff. Really good view of the lift hill through the trees. And then just like the fly here. I love it. Like, we should have a train, wouldn't we? Because we just saw one coming up, right? Yeah, there we go. I love it so much. Just look at it. Oh, yes. I could stand here and just watch this for ages, because it's just, I love flying coasters. They're so graceful. Flying coasters and wing coasters. So this seating area ended up having a cover, and that's exactly what I wanted it to be, actually. I wanted to put more in, but I actually ended up not putting more in. More foliage, more trees, more shade, more dappled. And you're going to see this, by the way, when we go on the when we actually go on the coaster. You'll see that the trees are perfect, like, and the ability to resize them and stuff is just it's great. Then we've got the queue line here. I like it again, but I like how it's sort of like a little bit more open because it's inside the ride area and stuff. So yeah, that's cool. And then we've got this little seating area, which works out quite nicely too. Like, it's just a nice little seating area. Just some lights and stuff inside here, and that's what it needs. Nice little cover, a bit of shade for in the heat and stuff. So yeah, let's come out of here and I'll show you the stuff from the top down real quickly, so that you can actually see what it's like, and we'll get attached to some trees like that. So there you go. There's the field unit. I've just done some bits around here just to tidy it up a little bit with clutter, and then this is what I wanted to do with the breeze block extension for the aircon units and stuff. So yeah, that's cool. Down this way through the trees, I've then carried on the mulch and stuff along the railway line. I haven't actually checked at the moment, by the way, whether the trains affect people. I know coasters do, but I don't know if the trains are going to push people out of the way, because I don't have a station for this at the moment. Then this is the rest of the like the plaza area, if you like. I love it. Like, it's just, oh, it's so shady, and just so shady in the best way. It's just like dappled sunlight and that stuff. I love it. This is the entrance area then from this side, and then this is the soda shop. So in terms of next week, I'm a bit torn. I don't know whether I'm going to do this bit here, or I don't know whether I'm going to do this bit here, or I don't know whether I'm going to do the tilt coaster. I haven't quite decided. But ultimately, what I want to do in this area is a log flume, a little bit like the Kings Island log flume. Here, I want another roller coaster, and I'm toying with the idea of it being a Eurofighter. Then, of course, we've got the tilt coaster that's here, but it needs redoing, and I just don't have the motivation to do it at the moment, because I'm just enjoying doing this area and pulling it apart. So I don't know. It's either going to be the log flume or it's going to be the Eurofighter, I think. So there you go, guys. Thank you so much for getting to the end of this episode. I really do appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I think we should go on a ride for on the wing coaster, not the wing coaster, on the flying coaster. Have a good week. I will see you next week. Take care, guys. Bye bye.